time in his Syracuse career that he's had 7 or more. And Dan, you mentioned it. How about Billy Dewan? He was killing it all game long. We have you up until 4 here on the Double Overtime. Our reporter and play-by-play man, Alex Burstein, will join us from Homewood Field to break it all down. It's a quick one, but we've got you with all the post-game analysis you need here on the Double Overtime, and it starts right now.
The game may be over, but our coverage on WAER rolls on. We're breaking down all the highs.
Pass in front, working through traffic. Hiltz ends it! Pure elation in the JMA Wireless Dome. Owen Hiltz, catch, shoot, score, and advance.
The shot wide. Eric Bolivar missed the target. The ball trickles out of bounds. And Syracuse holds on 9-8. It's all over. And for the first time in 9 years, Syracuse is the last team standing in the ACC.
And the lows.
For the first time in program history, Harvard hands Syracuse a loss. The Crimson crawl back from the jaws of defeat. Syracuse, with its closest shot at a championship in over a decade, gets sent home after a 14-8 loss to the Terrapins in the semifinals of the NCAA tournament.
While bringing you the hottest takes along the way.
You need to stick to your basics on offense. If you get an open look, fire it. You don't have to do a little razzle-dazzle. You don't have to do a spin. Just shoot it. Games like that, you're not going to get a Jimmy McCool 18 safe performance every time. You're not going to get these bad turnovers that Syracuse calls. Like 6 calls turnovers isn't going to happen in every single contest, and you can't sort of rely on that. It's going to be really difficult to get that sort of production every game without a response.
There was a calming sense around this team, and that's what you want from a top team who has championship aspirations. You have to know how to close out games like we've been preaching nonstop, and they did that. This is where teams separate themselves from the okay teams to the great teams, and Syracuse did that today. It's plain and simple.
Get your voice heard by calling 315-443-2011 or check out our YouTube and X at WAER Sports Talk. It's the Double Overtime, and it starts right now.
A huge win for Syracuse on the road. The number 10 Orange take down number 11 Johns Hopkins 12-8. Dan Shalom with you alongside Dan Papillo here on the Double Overtime. Up until 4, we got about 40 minutes with you, but if you want to call in and get your voice heard, dial up the number 315-443-2011. Again, that's 315-443-2011. You can also interact with us at WAER Sports Talk on Twitter and YouTube. We want to hear from you as Syracuse now has back-to-back wins. Dan, this was a big one.
100%. And coming off of that performance against Penn, there were a lot of questions with the Syracuse team, kind of looking at, okay, we faced some adversity. Syracuse needs to bounce back. Gary Gait was very vocal about how his team needs to regroup. And it's very clear, I think, from this performance that they did that.
I mean, to me, this looked like a totally different team than the last 2 weeks. The offense was fluid. The defense was shut down. Jimmy McCool looked great in the cage. And really, John Mullen looked like he had it again. So this was an all-around team performance.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty complete effort, and it's something that Syracuse has been missing. And you probably haven't seen that in a while. I would say since the Maryland game probably was the last time you saw that. But, there were still definitely some things to clean up. And John Mullen has obviously been a big talking point for Syracuse throughout the past week or so. Hasn't been too great, had some struggles against Penn. Gary Gait talked about him and said, there's a little bit of a mental struggle going on with John Mullen, just kind of trying to find his mojo again, being one of the best Fogos in the country. And he was solid today, 11 for 20. You'll sign up for that. But it maybe still isn't up to those John Mullen standards.